The purpose of this video is to try and help people understand why they're not getting traffic from the world, and with the traffic that they do get is not working so well for them. Some of these things are obvious and some of them are not so obvious, but generally when we follow the traffic through a website, it tends to be random acts that the visitor takes with no clear goal in mind. And this could be a problem of the website designer, or it could be a problem of the type of visitor that one has. And it also could be a problem of the content, in that it's not being clear enough for the person who is visiting. And finally, very few people follow the course that most website owners would want them to do. In other words, scoot along to their sales page, buy their product, go to the checkout, and then pay for it. The first part is where the visitor tends to move around randomly without doing anything constructive. This is often a case of a website not being designed in a way to guide and feed a person from one stage to the next, with the ultimate aim of taking them through to the sales page, or at least some call to action. Linked to this is the worst problem, is the web owners are sometimes finding what they're doing is they are attracting visitors to their website or their landing page, putting them straight into a channel which is taking them through to an opt-in page, which is forcing them through to a sales page. This generally is a little bit too fast for most visitors. It might work if you've got a $5 product, but if you've got a $2,000 product or more, it's unlikely that this is going to be a solution for the visitor. Best practice and common knowledge tells us today that before somebody actually does anything on a website, whether it be a call to action, a download, a purchase, or a sign up, before a person does anything, it's normally 7 interactions that they've had with your website before they do that. Which brings us back to this. Expecting somebody on their first visit to go flying through your channel straight to your sales page and your checkout cart is probably asking for the order too soon. New visitors have to be romanced. In other words, when you do get a visitor, you've got to make it a good experience for the person, and then you have to nurture them. But to nurture them, you need to be able to get in touch with them, and that's a critical point. If we look at the traffic, there's millions and millions of people looking every single minute on the search engines for a million different things. So there's a lot of traffic, but the problem is it's not coming to you. And the traffic that is there, you have to convert that traffic to a visitor. This traffic can be got in one of two ways. The first is you can buy these people to come to your website, and this is with paid ads, etc. Or you can design your website in such a way that you get natural organic traffic due to how well you're designing and building your website. When we look at paying for things, this is definitely the quickest way to get traffic, but it comes with a caveat. That is, firstly, it costs you money, and secondly, the moment you stop paying, the leads stop coming. And I could add to that, thirdly, is that the quality of a purchased lead to your website is less valuable than one that has arrived there organically. And when we talk of organic search or organic results, this is classed as anything where you've put out good content and good information that suits and satisfies somebody's need or their want or cures a pain, and the bulk of these platforms are free. So mastering these particular platforms is definitely a habit and a skill that one wants to develop. Whether you do it on a full frontal attack with both organic and with paid ads, what you need to do when your website is new is drive traffic as much as is humanly possible to your home page. The more you do this, the better the search engines will treat you, and obviously the better your results are going to be in the long term. However, even if you're getting massive traffic, we still believe this won't work. With organic traffic, in order to get the traffic coming to your website, understand that the big search engines, your Yahoos, Bings, Googles, etc., their goal is to give their customer, the person that's searching, the best possible experience based on what they are punching in or talking into their cell phone or computer when they search. These people have a problem and they need that problem solved, whether it's to find directions, the intent to buy, or to fix something. Whatever it is, they have a problem, and the search engines are going to give them the best possible result. For you to be in that mix, you have to add value. Your copy must be authentic, and it has to be relevant and up to date. And remember what we said earlier, that people buy or interact with a website usually on average after 7 visits to your website. So in the process of nurturing this prospect or visitor, essentially what you need to do is you need to give them as much information and help as possible. This allows you to be seen as an expert because you have a lot of knowledge about your product or your industry. The fact that you're doing it on a regular basis, it highlights your authority as somebody in your field, which means they will look at you ultimately as being a better option to any of your opposition and competition in the field with you. And with this comes trust, which is always built up in a slow fashion. People very seldom trust from the outset. So it's becoming an expert, being an authority, and gaining trust. If we were to look at a light-hearted look at this, there's 2 options here. Option on the left is a crash bang fella who goes on a first date, meets a woman and proposes her. The likely outcome there is failure. One of 2 failures, but nevertheless, a failure all the same. Whereas if you look at the normal process that most of us would have gone through if we met the person that we wanted to spend the rest of our lives with, we'd start slowly, it would be non-threatening, it would be things that make that person happy, it would be things that let them know that we care for them, that we are learning to understand them, we're learning about them. And it's really just a normal step-by-step process, and there could be numerous other steps to this procedure, but for the sake of space, this is what would probably end happily for this chap on the right hand side here, if he took things slowly and took his time to learn more about his date or his client. And this is pretty much what we should be doing in our businesses. And so here we come to the final chapter, so to speak. If we look at your homepage, once you get visitors there, it's got to be something fairly compelling that in the first instance is asking them for some form of action, which ideally at the very least would be an email address. You would then give something away for that email address, whether it be a template, a white paper, a download, a cheat sheet, a free course, whatever it would be. That would be what would encourage somebody to then say, these people are in the area that I want to be in, they're offering me something that'll help me, so here's my email address. And then from that point on, the mission is then to nurture this person, to carry on giving them good quality information, and then to also build up more information about them, to find out more about them. And you do this through polls, through surveys, through basically just asking in an email. And as you gather and garner this information, you're getting into a more powerful position to be able to finally, when you do make an offer, you know that it's going to be the right offer for them, it's going to be a good fit, and it'll probably be at a good price. And so done properly, what will happen is that this person will go through your surveys, your emails, your sales videos, and eventually when he's presented with an offer on a sales page, you've got far more chance of success of him going through to the cart and the checkout and ultimately purchasing your product. All of these problems can be solved by a holistic view on what you're doing in the digital marketing space. This includes your website, which is the prime, it's the fulcrum, it's the center point of everything that you do. So that if you don't have a website, you need to build one. If you do have a website, you need to optimize it. You need to make sure that your keyword and your SEO is up to scratch across every single page. You need to build a list so that when these visitors leave you their email, you can build a list knowing who they are and what it was that prompted them in the first instance. So you now have a bit more information about this stranger, and you can then connect with them. And then the connections are also done through social media as well as your emails. And the key as you grow is to make sure that you automate these campaigns and these processes, because you will never be able to keep up with it if you're doing it manually. And then finally, you have to track and analyze everything that is happening, from the color of your emails, the words in your emails, the fonts, the SEO, the keywords, etc. It all has to be taken care of. But ultimately, if you do that, you will get more sales. If you need to find out more about, in the first instance, building a website, give us a shout there at Easy Websites. If it's optimization, you have a website already and you want to fine-tune it, by all means get hold of it, SEO/GTEM. The link is there. If you want to use specific tactics to get to page 1 on Google with your product or service, then you need to go to the Get to Page 1 in Google link. If there's anything else that we've missed or that you feel we might be able to help you with, drop us an email, and the email link is at the bottom. Thank you for your time. Wishing you all the best with your digital marketing and your website. Hope to see you soon.